in a group of death. In the red trunks, playing Zerg, Startail Life.
And our Terran player, failing with a really weird cheese in the last game, it is Acer's Innovation.
Definitely an odd one, no doubt about that. And it just didn't quite work out. Could it have? I mean, I think it could, but what would have had to have gone better there for Innovation to actually pull that off?
Maybe if there was no drone scout, I think that definitely would have helped quite a bit. Also, I don't know if is Life really the right person to cheese, because when I think about it, you know, as you were saying how Life just looks at a game like that and says, what, you thought that would work on me? Well, actually, you're pretty much right on that. Whenever he gets cheesed, he seems to come out on top. This guy is just really good in, like, low eco, dirty situations, because that's normally what he puts himself in anyways.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he's a knife fighter. I think that's probably the best way to describe Life. He gets in close, he doesn't mind taking a few cuts, but he'll deliver them, and he delivers them accurately, with just, like, ridiculous accuracy. His link control, of course, is second to none. So perhaps that is not the situation you want to put Life in. You're saying, oh, great, I get to use lings. That's my favorite time. So, yeah, just bring it on, bro. See how it goes.
So lings, fast lings, upgraded lings, it doesn't matter. He doesn't care. As long as they're lings, man. This guy, like, he knows how to win with these weird small amounts of units. So I think that the macro game definitely is the place to throw him off and beat him. And in fact, the more I think about it, that's where he loses most often, is just a normal macro game where his opponent wasn't damaged at all early on. So we'll see if Life can maybe put on a bit of aggression here and take this game.
Well, Innovation opening up so far so standard, getting his Reaper out and, of course, completing his wall off. So nothing unusual from either player as of yet. And while that was cool, I do like my macro games with Life and Innovation, I've got to say. It's nice to see a weird cheese every now and again, but I do like to see these guys going at it for 20-plus minutes. It is that much fun.
Oh, indeed. But, you know what? I want to see Life definitely have a much longer game, but let's get it down and dirty a little bit quicker. Let's have him put on some aggression early on, whether it's with roaches or banelings or speedlings, something like that, because when he just goes kind of straight into a macro game like we saw in Game 1, you know, there's a lot of Zergs that can do that. Life, he brings something extra special to the table, though.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Now, what do you think of this low ground CC here from Innovation?
Well, it's definitely a little bit greedy, but, you know, he has this Reaper over there. It's keeping tabs on these Zerglings. He has a really good idea of exactly when speed's going to finish. And by the time it finishes, he should be fine. You know, he'll be back across the map with his Reapers, and jumping them up and down from high ground to low ground will be able to protect that command center.
Alright, well, the second Reaper is there. Just gonna poke a little bit at that Queen. Queen dying would be highly unusual. It's not likely to happen, but good to put a little bit of pressure on them nonetheless. And those Reapers pushed away for the time being. And we're seeing again Innovation going for that third CC really early there. And he will be going into Hellion.
It looks like pretty standard Innovation play, you know? Everyone in the world has watched a lot of Innovation games, and this shouldn't come as a shock to anyone what he's doing here. So everything looking normal and fine, but ooh, Life adding 14 lings just as speed is finishing up.
Oh, I like that a lot. That's really, really good. I think he realizes perhaps what he's up against, and he says, well, you know what happened when I didn't touch those Hellions earlier? I let those Reapers live. Well, it stung me. That hurt a lot. So I'm going to try and stop that from happening this time around. I'm going to nip it in the bud. I'm going to show you 4 lings, then I'm going to hit you with 14 more.
Well, we'll see if he can actually surround anything here. If he gets a few kills off, that would be huge. And look at this!
Oh! Ah, he gets 1 Hellion. That's not a bad little pickup. He's going for the main base. He gets through. Oh, the door is open. He gets the surround of 1 Reaper, 2 Reaper. Life going for it. We talked about a knife fight. That's exactly what he's bringing. Another Hellion goes down. Suddenly, an exposed main mineral line.
Oh man, this is so huge. Look at this. He chases the Hellions with half of the lings, the other half going after SCVs until it's time to pounce, surrounding yet another Hellion. Life is dealing a huge amount of damage.
How does he do it? No other player on the planet manages to pull this stuff off. Innovation wasn't expecting it. He thought he was safe. He thought he had what he needed to defend it, and now he's taking economic damage. We'll see just how much in a minute as the lings do get cleaned up. 10 workers killed, the entire Hellion Reaper push completely destroyed. Innovation's still on 3 CCs, but it's not over. More Lings are on the way.
Oh, of course. It almost never ends with Life. Sends more over, picks off what he can, but you know what? I think that there's enough Hellions here. He has to slow this down a bit.
Yeah, if he keeps pushing, especially with triple CC, able to reinforce and bring that worker count back up, it will end up with Life in kind of a sticky situation where he's not building enough drones. Whoa! He's going knock-knock with Wave 2. Roaches on the way here.
Hey, why not, right? You know, he's got him down to like 22 SCVs or so, and it's mostly just Hellions that his opponent's making. He doesn't really have the money to switch into things like Marauders or make a bunch of bunkers. So just keeping that pressure on with Roaches, it's very Life-esque, and I think it's really going to hurt Innovation.
I think it will. And the lack of Marauders, of course, lack of bunkers available. Hellions in large numbers do a decent job if they can get the right kind of shots off, but it's a hit-and-run kind of thing. The slow, inevitable march of the Roach, but then backed up by a huge amount of Lings that can reinforce a lot faster. That's where you start to get problems. Thankfully, Innovation gets a bit of a tell early on because of that single lone Roach that has wandered out around the other side, pathfindered in there. It's given a little bit of a warning to Innovation, but here's the thing. He's building an armory. He can actually transition these through to Hellbats.
Yeah, he certainly can, and those things are way beefier than Hellions, but the Baneling nest has just finished for Life, and it looks like he wants to go for a full-in bust.
He certainly does, and that is something that could work here. Will Innovation switch to Hellbats? I mean, he's still building Hellions in large numbers. It seems like he would at least switch a few of them for tanking purposes. He's pulled the SCVs to try and defend here already. He's getting good shots off on multiple Roaches, but the Baneling Bots comes in. One bunker goes down, but there are two more. Brilliant angle here for Innovation, taking down most of those Zerglings, but the second wave of Banelings is coming in. It's trying to do damage to the bunker. Can it break it? The second bunker goes down. And a huge connection for Life! Massive connection, no Hellbats for Innovation, and he pays the price.
Oh man, those Banelings just wrecked everything. 23 workers killed at this point. The Roaches and Lings continuing to attack forward. Oh, this is just too much damage, I think. I feel like Life is just going to take it right now.
Wow. If those Hellions had stayed alive, that would have maybe been a different fight, but that connection was just superb. 6+ Hellions going down, a huge Baneling explosion, no Hellbats to tank. At the moment, we've got Innovation fighting with SCVs, 3 Hellions and a Marauder, with Banelings morphing right next to his third command center.
You know what? That's
GG.
it. GG. And Life takes it down in blazing fashion. But I gotta say, you know, Innovation's defense there was really good for a moment until those Baneling connections I thought he might hold.
Yeah, it looked almost like he would have. Do you think that using a few Hellbats would have created a different outcome there?
If he had a couple Hellbats and his Hellions weren't quite, you know, so close together there, like a couple Hellbats on top, maybe he might have been able to hold that. It's just when he lost like his whole army to a few Banelings, that's when it's just the point of no return.
Yeah, certainly. Once those Hellions went up in smoke, I mean, he was getting brilliant angles, and I loved his bunker positioning as well. It was well spaced out. He was able to fall back to the next wave of bunkers. It allowed his Hellions to sit kind of behind a comfortable wall where they weren't going to get surrounded and get those really good angle shots off on the flanks of the Roaches. But then the Banelings connect and it's all over, and the whole thing collapses in a heartbeat.
Well, a very good match that we just saw there between Innovation and Life. Are you surprised to see Life be the winner here?
I don't think so. I think that was a really nice play there from Life. He really kicked it into high gear after the first match. He didn't let Innovation get too comfortable. I think he realized after that first game, you know what? I need to make sure that Inno is not able to get that 3-base economy up. And more to the point, that I don't let him just build as many SCVs and mules as he wants to. I can't. I've got to throw something into his macro to stop it.
You know what? It's a very good point. That's what you have to do against Innovation. He's just like the best of macro Terrans at TVZ, so you can't really play him completely straight up there. But to the point of what you said during the game there about Life and how does he do it? How does he do it? He is the only Zerg in the world that will always get his Lings in your base. He'll always somehow catch you off guard. And the thing is, it's not like Innovation doesn't know that. It's not like he's not looking for that, but it still works.
It works anyway.
Every time.
Yeah, he always gets into the base every single time. He has just this inherent understanding of timings, I feel, in ZVT, that is just a step beyond everybody else. He's able to catch every Terran as they're preparing for something dangerous, and is able to just completely disrupt it. And at that point, the game switches over to him. It's his play. He gets to do whatever he wants. The Terran is on the defensive, and life's just endless aggression kicks in.
It's a crazy thing to see, but he makes it work. Life is one of these, like, 1 in a million Zergs, man. Like, we had a few of them in StarCraft 1, and I would say even less in StarCraft 2. He's like a July Zerg type, right? He can do everything, but he makes aggression work that just nobody else can, and I think that's why he's one of these huge fan favorites.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And even though Life was certainly tripping over himself in the GSL, he wasn't today. No doubt about that. He figured out what Innovation was up to, and he was able to shut it down in the last 2 games there. Just perfect timing that Innovation was not ready for at all. And the Roach follow-up was great. Roach Bane Ling just to finish him off, and hell, still got to give credit to Innovation. He almost held it, and I don't think any other player could have said that. Almost holding it until that one Baneling detonation just completely smashed the House of Cards.
I actually thought he was going to hold it with 3 bunkers, and then some of the Banelings actually hit the Marauder after the bunker exploded. I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to go well for Life, but Life always finds a way, as I say.
He does. He absolutely does. And usually that way is into a Terran's main mineral line, which is never really what you want.
It's normally up the ramp is the way that he finds.
Pretty
I don't
much.
know how he finds it, but okay.
I don't know. He is a champion when it comes to that kind of stuff. Okay, folks, we are setting up the next game, and if you thought this one was good, you ain't seen nothing yet, because Flash takes the stage, and he takes the stage alongside a Pro League rival, and one of the best Protoss on the planet. It's going to be Flash taking on CJ Enter's Hero. It's going to be incredible. They're currently doing their vetoes at the moment. We're going to take a short break, hear a word from our sponsors, and of course, when we come back, we'll be bringing you the next best of 3. There are 4 more best of 3s coming in tonight. If you're disappointed that Innovation lost, don't worry, he's not out yet. He has another chance to stay in this group. This is the Sandisk SHOUTcraft Invitational, and we will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sandisk SHOUTcraft Invitational, as brought to you by the Sandisk Extreme Pro SSD. I want one. I want three, actually, if possible.
I don't know what you would need three for. Well, I mean, you are Totalbiscuit, so I guess you might, but I wouldn't mind to have one. Is it... did you mention that they have, like, a big warranty, like a 10-year or something?
That's insane. Like, it's an industry first. I remember back when SSDs first became a thing, and the biggest concern, other than the fact that they cost a fortune and were absolutely tiny size, was, oh, these things eventually kind of run out. Like, it's not just a mechanical failure like a hard drive. They had a certain number of writes they could do, and then they ran out, and you couldn't do anything with them anymore. Now, technology's advanced to the point where they can give a decade's warranty on one. It's insane.
To put 10 years into perspective for esports, that's StarCraft 1 before StarCraft 2, okay? That's like, it's pretty crazy. Like, that's, wow. You know, that would basically cover my entire StarCraft 1 career before I went to Korea. That's a big warranty right there.
Wow. Brood War loading on a SATA 3 SSD. I think that would load before you click the load button. Be that good.
It would guess that you are going to do that and load it for you.
It has foreseen. Oh, man. Such a cool piece of tech, and of course, thank you very much. This is actually Sandisk's first ever esports event. They're dipping their toe in the water, so we'd like to welcome them and certainly hope that they're enjoying the event so far. I know their Twitter account's been very active. They've been keeping abreast of all of the promotion and hype, so hopefully there's a few StarCraft fans over there.
Yeah, you know what? It's, I'm sure you had something to do with this, Totalbiscuit, but if this is their first esport event, congratulations to them for choosing the greatest esport game to do it in.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. You know, what other esport game has Flash just sitting around waiting to play StarCraft 2 for you? You know? No, none of them. Absolutely none of them. And hopefully there never will be another game that has Flash sitting around ready to play, unless its name is StarCraft 3, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah. One day. That's a long time in the future, though.
Indeed. So, let's talk about this. The ultimate weapon versus the Smiling Assassin. This is a guy, of course, that has been performing incredibly in Pro League, and yet in StarCraft 2, outside of a couple of fairly small events like the Kesper exhibition at that famous MLG, hasn't really put too many results on the board. Versus, of course, a man that has won IEMs back-to-back.
Yeah. You know, he's won those IEMs back-to-back, but of course, that devastating loss at the IEM World Championships, I feel bad because I laugh every time I talk about it.
Oh, man.
Because it was such a one-sided finals where he went home with $0 against the 100K of SOS. It was, oh my god, I can't even think of anything more heartbreaking than that for Hero.
You know, if I could, I'd try and consider SOS to be the greatest villain of our time, but as we know, Sniper still breathes, so it is not possible. And SOS is just too likable. I'm sorry. Most man and most humble guy, so very cool. And when the big money's out there, he brings it when it counts. I gotta say, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Anyone with a picture like him winning BlizzCon, that jumping, smiling picture of him in the air, I mean, you can't count him as a villain, unfortunately. So, you know, Hero, he's had some tough luck when he's gone to the end of tournaments, but as you said, you know, he's second overall in Pro League, which is crazy. And there's only one Protoss in the top 7. It's him. But he's going up against someone who is actually, like, 4th overall in Pro League, which is Flash. So, I mean, this is, like, what a great day of StarCraft. A best of 3 between these two.
Yep, and our vetoes are in. That means Flash has taken a chance to ride on the merry-go-round as the first map there, and CJ Hero picks Frost, and then Outboxer being the last map here.
All right, I mean, this is a good set of choices, if you ask me. Merry-Go-Round is a very tough map to take a third base on against Terran. I think this is, like, the best pick for Flash. And then Protoss is just like to pick Frost. You know, it's a pretty normal map. They feel like they have pretty good games on there overall. So, should be a good series.
I think so. Man, Flash is playing in my tournament. Coolest day of my life, gotta say, you know. Second coolest after my wedding, anyway. I don't want my wife to come up and strangle me in the middle of this cast because it does make casting a little tricky. Just keeping things on the level when it comes to marital relations. But it's to be honest, she'd understand. It's Flash. You know?
Look, it's a small asterisk, a small footnote. It's fine. You know, it is Flash, and I'm sure that she understands. As being a StarCraft fan herself, so I mean, this is fantastic. I'm in a lobby with Flash, man. I love stuff like this. I have worshipped this man for so many years.
Indeed. And they are ready to go. It begins. Let us go. The countdown has now begun. Merry-Go-Round will be the first arena for our best of 3 series between 2 absolutely incredible players.
This is gonna be sick, man. I cannot wait. The last time these guys played, though, Flash did win in Pro League. But I'll chalk that up to a hero mistake. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute here after we get them introduced.
That we absolutely will. Going into the game right now, it will be a best of 3, of course. And we'll get a chance to see them again, even if one of them loses, which of course they will. That's pretty much guaranteed. But here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Merry-Go-Round. To the south position. In the red trunks, playing Terran, they call him the ultimate weapon, KT Rolster's Flash.
And in the top right, one of the friendliest but deadliest guys you can know in StarCraft 2, the smiling assassin. It is CJ Entis Hero.
It is indeed. What a monster. What a captain as well, you know. I mean, he really has captained that team. Even though Effort is technically their captain, I feel like Hero leads from the front in a really big way for CJ Entis.
Oh, he's their ace, and he's got like such a positive attitude, which I think is one of the most important things for one of the better and most important members of your team to have, you know? Even though he lost all these events at the high level, like the finals there, and then he got knocked out of Codes as soon as he got back, and you know, he's had some tough runs like that, despite some big IEM wins as well. He stays really positive and really kind of cheery overall.
Yeah, he does. He is called the Smiling Assassin for a very good reason. Flash always seems very stone-faced, certainly very serious outside of the occasional screen cap where he's wiggling his eyes around in an amusing fashion, but he doesn't mess around. He has a little bit of fun from time to time, but this guy is one of the most famous StarCraft players to ever have graced this earth, and he acts like it, even though, unfortunately, his individual performance in StarCraft 2 has not really been up to par yet.
No, not yet. Well, I mean, that's funny to say because he's still one of the best in the world.
Indeed.
But
yeah.
It's not up to par to what he did in StarCraft 1, which is be the greatest of all time at the hardest game of all time. So, I mean, that's pretty sick, right? I mean, it's all right.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I do want to mention once again, as I was kind of talking about before, these guys played really recently in Pro League, and Flash did beat Hero on King Sejong Station, but Hero had him dead and just attack moved up a ramp. And Flash, and the thing is, he still would have killed most people, but Flash came back from there and killed him. And, you know, I wonder if that's weighing heavily on Hero's mind, because that's a pretty tough loss to take right there when you throw it away pretty heavily like that.
Yeah, it really, really is, because you knew you had him. You absolutely knew it, and then I think when you lose a game like that, the doubts creep into your mind. It's like, is this guy really that good that I had him on the ropes and he just hit me with a haymaker out of nowhere? Or was I just that bad that I didn't see it coming?
Yeah, I suppose so. But to show that Flash actually has a lot of respect for Hero, even though he did beat him on King Sejong Station, I was watching the veto process, and Flash actually vetoed that map. So he's saying, he basically had me once, and I don't want to play on that map again.
Absolutely. Now, that is an interesting little bit of pylon placement here from CJ Hero over to the west of the map.
Well, if I had to guess, that's for a Stargate right there.
Yep, I think it might be.
Well,
There it is.
there it is. Well, that'll definitely give him a good angle to fly in with an Oracle.
That said, Engineering Bay's already up.
That's true, actually. Flash really likes to get a super fast +1 attack in this matchup. We see him actually do this pretty often when he plays TVP. And, it obviously allows his Marines to get a little bit more bang for their buck. But will he be in position when this Oracle comes? Because so far to him, things look kind of normal coming out of Hero, right? I mean, he's got his fast expand up, and he can't really tell if this is a Stargate build or not.
Yeah, he's not actually managed to count all the pylons. He didn't see the one to the south of the base. So really, he's kind of playing blind. So he doesn't know if one's missing. He can't get into the base because CJ Hero's defense and denial so far of the scout has been pretty much impeccable. And this is not some gold leaguer. You don't build random missile turrets. If you can skip that, that's 100 minerals that could be spent somewhere else. And if Flash doesn't suspect an Oracle and isn't in position with Marines, he's going to have a hard time. But he does have a few. The problem is the Oracle is about to finish.
Yeah, well, Flash, he knows his timings at least. He does have a good amount of Marines in his main base and in his natural, so he's kind of watching for this to happen. But that doesn't mean this Oracle can't fly in and still get a bunch of SCV kills, because those Marines are not perfectly placed.
No, they're absolutely not. They're just edging forward just as you say that. And in comes the Oracle. Flash reacts immediately to this to try and shut it down. +1, of course, is about to finish. And, Hero! Oh, so close. Zaps that Marine. He's trying to get out of there. How good is Hero's control? The answer is fantastic. And out he gets.
Yeah, I actually would have lost that Oracle for sure, but he juked and jived just right, got out of there, but still, it's really low on health, and he only got 1 kill so far, so not really that successful.
No, not really. It was shut down nicely, and the last thing you want to do is dip in again with low health against +1 Marines. That's even worse. And as missile turrets come down as well, Flash has no intention of allowing this to go any further, but Hero recognizes that this is not going to be a thing, and goes straight into Robo Bay.
Well, he definitely does need to get some splash damage out relatively soon here. Seeing that eBay, seeing the amount of Marines on the map, he knows that this is going to be a pretty aggressive set of units from Flash. And if he doesn't actually get Colossus out relatively soon, how is he going to stop all those +1 Marines?
He's not. It's as simple as that. A big Marine Marauder medevac force with the +1 upgrade so early on and stim, especially considering he's going for +1 armor as well. It's going to shred Gateway. He knows that. So he needs an answer. The question is, can he get it out fast enough? Will we see Flash be able to drop Harass? I mean, this is just a 2-base Protoss. So defending this, especially with Photon Overcharge, won't be too hard. I wonder, when do you think Flash decides to push with this?
Well, I think as these medevacs start popping out, he'll walk over and start to put on like a little bit of pressure, do a little bit of a contain, because he is getting that 3rd command center. So he wants to have his 3-base economy up, but I think this game is going to be mostly focused on making sure Hero doesn't easily take his own 3rd base, which on Merry-Go-Round is a very good strategy.
At the moment, we're just seeing him ward away that Oracle. There's a Viking out now. I mean, I think he just says, there's no way I am allowing this Oracle to do anything. I know you proxied that Stargate.